You hear a cacophony of sound emerging from this as well. The calls of wolves, the roars of lions and tigers and bears. Oh my.
What do you guys offer me in exchange for learning what I know?
I do believe that you adhere to the path of righteousness.
Don't push my boundaries, Walter.
Your generosity is appreciated, Tangul.
Good. Consciousness returns to you all with the dim blue light of the contestants' circle. As you look around now, there are many empty spaces from when you began. Only 33 contestants remain alive. For those of you who have either not seen action in round 2 or are returning, your adrenaline begins to spike as you know that this is the final episode of round 2. And you are all aware you are about to re-enter the Crucible of Fate and face mortal peril once again. As you become accustomed to the environment around you, you hear slow and steady footfalls in the shadows outside this lit perimeter of the contestants' circle. You all feel yourselves being slowly lowered down just a little bit as you see Thermgul, well dressed in his red and gold robes, with dregs just a couple of steps behind him and to the right, this dim blue light reflecting off his grotesque mask, as they both look up and scan the contestants that still remain within the circle. Wakey, wakey, everyone. It is time, once again. Some of you have waited a long time to return into the Crucible of Fate. I feel like I've forgotten some of your names and your faces. I apologize. But I hope we get reacquainted very well here today. Dregs, I trust you have the list here with you? You see a nod from Dregs as he pulls out the scroll case and hands it to Thermgul. You know, I have to admit, as much as I liked seeing the General emerge beyond what I think were unfair odds stacked against him, you see the utility of chaos and deceit. I was very proud of Lucius, and very sad to see him fall. Perhaps he will have earned a special place down here. I think he is still a useful tool. Anyway, I digress. Things did kind of drag a bit. And to all of you who are going to be fighting today, let's make one for the history books, huh? I think we need to crank it up a bit. Increase the difficulty setting, perhaps. Yeah, let's get the crowd on the edge of their seat. Just spike the danger and threat to you all. Here we go. What have we got here on our list? A lot of familiar faces. Some people we have seen a couple of times now. And I maintain we like to keep things fair for the eyes of truth, so some second chances are being given here. The first name we have, Angor the Gentle. And we welcome back Rusko, who's going to be playing Angor the Gentle. If you want to just say a few words about yourself, Rusko, and then if you could describe Angor's descent from stasis and his description and anything that you want to say to the crowd.
Hey everybody, I'm Rusco. Excited to be back here for round 2 of Crucible of Fate. It's been a nerve-wracking morning, but excited to play Angor again. Angor descends down from stasis, and he's holding a greatsword, Havoc's greatsword, in his hands, still covered with the blood of Havoc. He slowly starts wiping the blood off. Havoc's very signature red mohawk has kind of flopped to one side after the fight with Havoc. So he uses the blood and he kind of straightens his mohawk, and he looks around at the rest of the people coming down from stasis, and just nodding his head. I see that some here adhere to the tenets of Paleon, but I fear that some don't.
Angor, I think I mentioned this to you last time, but we're going to have to do something about this title of the Gentle now. Don't think that was very gentle what you did to Havoc. Perhaps a new title?
That's not for me to decide.
Well, we shall leave it to the others then. Perhaps the Eyes of Truth. At any rate, I welcome you back here in the Fate's Hand Tavern, and I wish you the best of luck in the battle to come. And Rusco, welcome back, man. Great to have you back on the show. Looking forward to playing some D&D with you. And moving next. And what we have here next on our list... Galeo. Back on a technicality, huh? It seems that the Eyes of Truth are not finished with you yet. And after reviewing the events of your last appearance here, it has been decreed that you were perhaps shafted, as they say. A little bit of twist of our rules as we develop things down here, and it's hard to organize chaos, and as you are all aware, this entire place is very chaotic. I'm doing my best to maintain order, as shown. Jonathan, welcome back to the show, as we welcome Galeo as well.
Hey all, John. Just looking forward to playing some D&D and hopefully not dying today. Galeo steps down, just kind of rubbing his head, just like, that was not very pleasant. I get the chaos, but damn, let's not do that again.
Well, we shall try. We try to learn from our mistakes here. Hopefully you have learned from yours. Although, perhaps you were doing the right thing. I have to commend you on your strategies. They were paying off rather well. It's just fate did not seem to be in your favor. Maybe this will change in this episode, perhaps.
Well, I am in the Fate's Hand Tavern.
Indeed, anything can happen here. Anything is possible. You must seize the day. Don't let fate be the deciding factor again. Be aggressive and bold, as I have been saying. I believe boldness has paid off here so far. Next, what do we have? Medivh, of course. And as we look up to the contestants' circle, you see a body fall rapidly with gravity and slam into the stone floor of the Fate's Hand Tavern. A couple of cracks of bones as the clearly unmoving and unconscious body of Medivh lays on the floor. And you see Tharamgul just kind of stare at her body for a moment as he begins salivating once again. And at this moment, as he begins to take a couple of steps towards Medivh, there is a loud crack and a tearing sound as this plane of existence has an opening that begins to rend open in front of you all in the middle of the contestants circle. And immediately there is wind that begins whipping through like a very small tornado, a dust devil of sorts, as it emerges from this other side of the portal. You feel unbridled life and nature. You hear a cacophony of sound emerging from this as well. The calls of wolves, the roars of lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. And the sound of thunder, rain coming through. It's just an overwhelming collage of natural events. And as this dust devil moves into the center of the Fate's Hand Tavern, it begins to dissipate as all the dust falls to the floor, and there in front of you is Huron Tideturner. Oh my goodness. Why is it always with Medivh when our name is called? Huron. I see that your deity has determined it is your time to return here. Your last chance, I would say, at remaining in this competition. You have abandoned the safety and, I won't say comfort, but energies of your nature realm to rejoin us. Without your soulbound partner, you are liberated from your soulbind at this point. And at this point, I will turn it over to Josh. Welcome back to you. And if you could please introduce yourself and Huron.
Hello, everyone. My name is Josh, coming to you from beautiful Colorado. I am, as always, just absolutely titillated to play Dungeons and Dragons with Dave and the rest of you fine people. I'm so excited. Anyways, Huron, 6'3" half orc, and as he still wears his gray clothing with red accents, and his green skin is covered with his blue war paint. The patterns seem more bestial in nature, more sharp edges and claw and tooth painted into his skin. On one hip, he has his battle axe. On the other, he has this hard leather case, rabbit's foot dangling from the clasp. And as he re-enters the Fate's Hand Tavern from the Tempest behind, you can see a certain wildness to him that was not apparent before. His features seem sharper, his eyes moving to take in everything as a predator would do. This is a man that has been changed by recent events in the games. He turns toward the Tempest that left him and bows, wrists clasped before him, and turns back around, looks at Tharamgul and says, "Ah, Tharamgul, I hope you did not think you would get rid of me that easily. I told you I would survive your games. I return." And Uncle Blood. Always prideful, always believing that you know best, unaware of your folly. I see what you are doing, Uncle, and you will fight. You will bleed, and you will die. Your choice has been made.
Well, Huron, shots fired. You know, the brand is still here if you wish to use it. And as Thermgul turns his hand, you see the Face Hand Tavern shift for a moment as you see the brand that General Blood had crafted resting within the flames of the forge. You can see the end of this brand is glowing brightly, ready for use to anyone who wishes to declare themselves under the banner of General Blood. It's not too late, Huron. I'm not sure you're making a very wise decision at this moment. The pain of this brand is short and sweet. It's nothing compared to a eternal torment that you would face should you fall to your uncle.
Thermgul, your words, while honeyed, they are poison. And I would go into everlasting torment with my conscience clear.
Very well. Have it your way. But you have seen what has happened to those who oppose me. And he waves his hand in another direction, and you see hanging from a spot in space. You cannot see if it's rafters or ceiling, but these chains extend down with the body of Matthias Crow suspended with arms up, just hanging limply, head down. This is the example I would like to show to everyone who opposes me and, well, now, General Blood. I hope we don't see you hanging up there, Huron.
Very theatrical, Thermgul. I see Lieutenant Crow hanging there. And I feel for him. However, I've told you that I will survive your games. And at the end of this, Lieutenant Crow will be freed. And the souls that you have condemned here will be let go.
Lieutenant Crow freed.
Over my dead body,
And next, we welcome back Joseph, who will be playing Coho. Welcome back, Joseph. If you could please introduce yourself. It's been a while. I think episode 5, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think it was January 2023 was when we finished up my episode. So long time. But yeah, I'm Joseph. I'm from Northern Ireland, currently in Belfast. And I'll be playing Coho, a high elf. His skin is quite pink and rawish from like overexposure to heat. He wears what's now a lot of black because of ash and smoke and soot. And he is equally as fidgety as I am right now from nerves.
Well, welcome back. Great to have you here. Coho, I hope that in this episode we get to see a bit more of your motivations. It's been some time, and I apologize. Some of you that were in these earlier episodes, I need to be reminded of just whose side you're on. I'm sure that will become clear in our little games tonight. But
Well, I can't blame you for forgetting me. I did spend a lot of my first round unconscious, so didn't make too much, and then the next round invisible. So not a lot to see from the eyes of fate, and over here, hopefully I'll make more of an impact.
I trust you will. I have a good feeling about you, Kohal. And next we welcome back James, our record holder for longest time between episodes. James was in episode 1 of round 1 and has now made it all the way, has been patient enough to appear in episode 10 of round 2. A very good friend of mine. I've been playing D&D with James now for, I think, 20 years. Man, it's great to have you back in the Fate's Hand Tavern. Of course, no bias. But good luck to you and welcome back. James, if you can tell us a bit about yourself and Civius.
Sure. Yeah, James been playing D&D. Yeah, like Dave said, together here in Ottawa for about 20 years, and then also before that, as a kid for another unnamed. I said a number of years that will be unnamed. Let's say. Gotta keep people guessing a little bit. Civius descends, as you all do, into the Fate's Hand Tavern. He wears a kind of a black cloak. He keeps a hood on, although you can see his face is green skin, speckled with brown. He wears leather armor and carries a pretty heavy backpack that kind of stoops him over. He's got a staff on the back of his cloak. And some potions and such are on his belt. He lands and kind of just looks around and just kind of meekly waves.
Civius, although it has been a very long time, I do remember a bit of savagery from you and your pets. Poor Dreven was at the business end of your creations. Definitely look forward to seeing more of that.
I can only oblige. It's all you can do here.
Indeed. You must play the hand you are dealt.
Yeah.
Although I know some people have been able to stack the deck, and there are lots of ways to do that down here. So, as I said, be bold, be decisive, and take action. And last but certainly not least, we welcome Serena back to the show, who will be playing Water Talking. Welcome back. If you could please introduce yourself and your character.
Hi, I'm Serena. I go by Mirror online usually, but I run games, I play games, and I write games. You can see me. I'll be running some mega games at Gen Con if you're lucky enough to go this year. And I'm playing Water Talking, who comes out of stasis. She's a tall, slender, half-orc barmaid, but there's elements of leather armor in her uniform, such as it is, and it's a bit different than the last time she appeared here, in that before it was very black, the armor, but now there seem to be like chaotic sort of sparkling patterns in there, as if she's undergone some sort of a shift. And as she comes out of stasis, she looks out across the Fate's Hand Tavern, past the people, past Thermgul, as if she's looking out to the eyes of truth. And it's as if she's looking for a particular pair or multiples of eyes. She's looking for someone as she speaks, and she says, "My mother's coven said celestial events marked me as the chosen of Laxoria. My father's clan deemed that I was to be the chosen of Myrmidian, Order's will made manifest. All my life, order and chaos have chased me, whispering in my ear. And now, when the deities dueled for my fate, I found myself here. I feel like a comet has pierced my heart, and it's ripping me apart from the inside as if I'm plagued by unnatural shadows. And now, you want me to fight for you, to dance for you again? Here? On the floor? On the blood of my long-lost brother Stack? On his blood? Well, put on some music. Let's put on a show.
Water talking. Wow, you're bringing such energy. Something has changed in you. I hope I am here when this comet explodes. I see great possibility for you, and I've got to say, big fan of Laxoria. She's a bit wild.
Very much so.
Well, let us hope you do not share the same fate as Stack. He was favored by many. Apparently not by the gods, however. Perhaps it is different for you.
I've been running away from my fate for so long, I think I finally feel like I'm ready to face it and make a choice.
We get a lot of that down here, especially in this place. Long ago, this Fate's Hand Tavern was a favored meeting spot of those who were crossing paths by Fate's hand. You know, you never know when you go somewhere why or how anyone else came to be there, and in such a place of community and what used to be joy. Things have fallen a bit into disrepair, but I hold the Fate's Hand Tavern near and dear to my heart, which is why I work so hard to keep it functioning. And I do hope, Water Talking, that the gods and your destiny catch up to you here, as it will with the rest of you. And now that we have met our contestants for our final episode 10 of round 2, we are running short on time, so I will not hesitate. Before we do our intermission actions, I must inform all of you of the items available for purchase in our gift shop. And as Theramgul says the words gift shop, you see out of the shadow appear the display cases and shelves of the gift shop. In Tier 1, we see our standard items, the Amethyst of Enchantment, which is a polished purple stone. It provides +1 to attack and damage rolls for any one mundane weapon, spell focus, or holy symbol. And of course, these attacks are considered magical. The second item in Tier 1 is the Agate of Defense, a polished red stone. It enchants any mundane item, armor, or clothing, providing a +1 to AC so long as that item is being worn or held. In Tier 2, a Cap of Water Breathing. While wearing this cap underwater, you speak the command word as an action to create a bubble of air around your head, which allows you to breathe underwater. This bubble stays active until the command word is said once again, the cap is removed, or you are no longer underwater. Second item in Tier 2 is a Ring of Resistance. The type of resistance will be revealed at the time of purchase, but I assure you it will be directly related to the events of this evening. In Tier 3, the first item is a Ring of Swimming. While wearing this ring, you have a swimming speed of 40 feet. And then the final item in Tier 3 is our Weapon of Uncanny Effectiveness, which I think has been here since the beginning of round 2. No one has made this purchase. Of course, you choose the form of this weapon at the time of purchase so that it can take the shape of any weapon, dealing piercing, bludgeoning, or slashing damage as fit for the form. On a natural 20, it does plus 14 damage to whatever damage you do on your own. And at that point, you would also roll a d20. If you roll another 20, you cut off a limb on your target. And we'll roll a 1d4 to determine what limb that is. So there you have it, everyone. Those are your items for the gift shop. I hope you can see the value that they bring to your endeavors this evening. It is but one path to victory, of course. Trusting in yourself by preparing, visiting the archivist for knowledge, parlaying to try to sway the favor of others. Many paths open to you all. And with this, we are going to bring up our game log, and I'm going to ask each of you to roll your initiative when I call out your name, because we want to capture this one at a time. Keep in mind you can roll a regular initiative roll, dex-based, or you can roll a perception skill check or an intelligence ability check. So you have 3 choices here for your initiative. So we will start with Angor. 23. That is going to be tough to beat. Gleo. 11. And not just a reminder to everyone that, of course, you have a number of fate spheres left, each of you a different number, depending on how your previous episodes have gone. And those can be used to affect any dice roll in the game, except for the recharge, if there is one, on any monsters. Huron. A 4. Coho.
Yep.
26. Sivius. 11 for Sivius. Water talking. 10. All right, good luck, everyone, and I hope you have some great intermission actions. See you guys soon. Greetings, Coho. You're off to a good start. Oh, very quick on your feet. Do you know what you would like to do for your first intermission action?
I would love to I would like to figure out what I'll be facing in the next round of this competition.
So you would like to visit the archivist?
Yes.
At the mention of the archivist, Theramgul fades from view, as does the Fate's Hand Tavern, and you find yourself within the grand arch of the archives. And as you seem to be floating into it, or it is moving past you, you see massive piles of bones on the left and an endless stacks of books and tomes on your right. As soon as you cross through the threshold of the archway, you feel a presence begin to enter your consciousness. And at this point, I would ask you to roll either a persuasion or an investigation check, please. 20. So with a 20, that does unlock 2 tiers of information. So just keep in mind whether you want to use the tier 1 at 15 to get information about the monster or the room, and then at tier 2 at 20 whether you want information about the monster or the room, because they are distinct bits of data. As this presence enters into your mind, you realize that it is Abrunga All, the archivist. And as you kind of become familiar with this extra consciousness within your mind, you also see his form emerge from the shadows. His gray skin, sunken eyes, just milky white, and of course his tentacles seemingly moving on their own accord as he approaches you. Coho, it has been been some time since we have seen you here. How can I be of service to you?
Yes. Hello, Great Archivist. I would love to know about the environment that I will be going into.
Very well. Follow me, please. As he turns his back and begins floating, the stacks begin to move past you, up and over and down, different directions. And this is for your tier 1 information, just to be clear?
I will do this for tier 1, yeah.
Tier 1, okay. You begin to get images in your mind of a battlefield filled with water. You're going to be facing off against a monster and against your fellow combatants within the fish tank. You can see that it is roughly a 65-foot square in terms of length and width of the room. The height is 20 feet, and it appears to be brightly lit from light sources outside of the fish tank. And you can see that all of these faceless, nameless, shadowy contestants that are meant to represent you and your fellow contestants are all manacled to the wall underwater. 2 doors in the corners, 2 treasure chests beside the doors, and 2 keys centrally located in the room. And for your tier 2?
Oh, we'll go monsters.
The monster. Okay, so for being the first person to visit the archive, right away as you mention the monster, you start getting these images in your mind, and you find that it is a bit difficult to take as they are rather terrifying. As you see the huge, towering form of a night walker, you see its long gray horns, its black shadowy body with these wisps and tendrils of shadow following it as it strides fearlessly everywhere it goes. You see people running in terror from it. You see it just clawing through people, then just being turned into clouds of red mist. You see it like pointing its finger at individuals, and as they kind of stop, you see their souls ripped out from their bodies, being ingested by the Nightwalker as their physical forms turn to ash. You also see within a radius of this creature, everything living just dissolving or dying. You see plants and wildlife just falling over in place and turning to ash. You see creatures' skin and bones just dissolving everywhere this creature walks. So you get advantage on all of your attacks against this creature, and it has disadvantage on all of its attacks against you, but I remind you to remind me about these things, because I will surely forget during the encounter.
Okay.
The information that you get for your tier 2, please stand by. You learn that this creature is resistant to lightning, thunder, cold, fire, acid, and bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks. It is also immune to poison and necrotic damage. I hope that the information we have discovered here together, Koho, has been beneficial to you.
Thank you, Great Archivist. It has. Hopefully I now have the tools to survive another day.
I hope you do. A very formidable opponent, indeed. And with that, You feel his consciousness leave yours, and the archives seem to just fall away back into shadow as the Fate's Hand Tavern appears around you. And with that, that ends your first intermission action. Greetings, Angor. It is time for your first intermission action. I hope you are not following in the footsteps of Huron here.
Certainly not going to make the mistake I made last time by expending all of my fate spheres in the gift shop.
What would you like to do for your first intermission action?
As I do believe it is wise to go against any of your advice, I would like to talk to Huron.
I see how it's going to be. I am pleased to let you know you are the first to parley, so you can speak with 2 individuals.
I would like to speak with Huron first. Perhaps he has some insight on who he thinks might benefit us, or at least who is most likely to adhere to the tenets of Paleon or the path of righteousness.
Blah, blah, blah. Wait a moment here and I will fetch him for you. Greetings, Huron Tide Turner. You have been summoned to a parley circle by Angor the Gentle. Do you accept or refuse?
Well, I accept.
Very well, in that case, you have 3 minutes, and it begins now.
Huron, I do believe that you adhere to the path of righteousness. If not Paleon, then at least the path of righteousness. We, or I, have the ability to invite one more person to this parlay. I came to you first because I have more faith in your tenets than anybody else in this game. Who do you think would benefit, or at least not put ourselves in some sort of moral dilemma?
I appreciate the faith.
It can't be Galeo.
I will be brief. I believe, Angor, that water talking is an unknown. My gut was going to say Kelio. Why can it not be Kelio?
Because he tried to soul bind with blood.
I had forgotten that. I agree. Then, in my opinion, it is between Sivius or Coho.
Coho it is.
Very well. So it's at 1:30. Just pausing for a sec. Does that mean you want me to invite
Yes.
Coho? Okay. In just 1 second. Greetings, Coho. You have been invited to a parley circle by Angor the Gentle and also accompanied by Huron Tide Turner. Do you accept or refuse?
I accept.
Very well. In that case, Angor, you have 1 minute and 30 seconds, and it begins now.
All right. Coho, you were first in the intermission actions. Have you learned anything?
I have, but what do you guys offer me in exchange for learning what I know?
Well, I'm certain Huron adheres to the tenets of Paleon, the path of righteousness. I am unsure about you yet. But I know Galeo has tried to soul bind with blood. So.
Okay.
Sorry, he's an enemy.
Okay. You can trust me. I'm going to put my trust in you, as I fear I need to. This challenge will be based underwater.
Okay.
And if we are to be comrades, I could do a ritual for water breathing on all of us.
That would be quite helpful.
That would be appreciated. Coho, I promise to guard you
Okay.
as I would Angor.
Same.
As I would a clansman.
I appreciate that.
So then we agree. We kill Galeo first.
Agreed.
Agreed.
And that is your 3 minutes. I applaud you on your brevity and ability to accomplish things in 3 minutes. I'm actually surprised.
Mrs. Angor didn't think that was nearly as fun.
So this ends your intermission action, Angor. Good luck to the 3 of you. I will see you all shortly. Greetings, Sivius, my unknown factor here tonight. It is your turn for your first intermission action. What would you like to do?
I don't think I can resist the potential benefits of the archivist, so I think that's what I'd like to do first.
Very well. At the mention of the archivist, the Fatesand Tavern fades away and is replaced by the grand archway of the archives, and you immediately see the massive piles of bones and seemingly endless shelves of books and tomes passing by you slowly. You immediately feel a presence enter your consciousness, and at this time I would ask you to either do a persuasion or an investigation check to determine how much knowledge you gain here.
Okay, so then to assist with my persuasion check, or maybe, I don't know, we'll see how this impacts things. What I'd like to do is detect its thoughts using my psionic abilities.
Okay. Sounds good. So
does that? I don't know what the practical implications of that is. If it's advantage, or if I literally read its thoughts. I mean, I can read you the spell description if you want.
Yep, if you can just read it out.
When you cast a spell, and as your action on each turn until the spell ends, you can focus your mind on any one creature that you can see within 30 feet of you. I guess maybe I can't see it, so maybe I can't do it.
You will be able to see him very shortly.
Okay. If the creature you choose has an intelligence of 3 or lower, it's unaffected. You initially learn the surface thoughts of the creature, what is most on its mind at that moment. As an action, you can either shift your attention to another creature's thoughts or attempt to probe deeper into the same creature's mind. If you probe deeper, the target must make a wisdom saving throw. If it fails, you gain insight into its reasoning, if any, its emotional state, something that looms large in its mind, something that it worries over, loves, or hates. If it succeeds, the spell ends. Either way, the target knows that you are probing its mind unless you shift your attention to another creature's thoughts. The creature can use its action on its turn to make an intelligence check contested by your intelligence check. If it succeeds, the spell ends. Questions verbally directed at the target creature naturally shape the course of its thoughts, so this spell is particularly effective as part of an interrogation. You can also use this spell to detect the presence of thinking creatures you can't see. When you cast the spell as your action, during the duration, you can search for thoughts within 30 feet of you. The spell can penetrate barriers, but 2 feet of rock, 2 inches of any metal other than lead, or a thin sheet of lead blocks you. You can't detect a creature with an intelligence of 3 or lower, or one that doesn't speak any language. Okay. Once you detect the presence of a creature in this way, you can read its thoughts for the rest of the duration as described above, even if you can't see it, but it must still be within range.
Okay, no problem. Just give me one quick sec here, just checking one thing. As you feel the presence of Abrunga all enter into your mind, you reach out as well to detect its thoughts. Immediately, you get these surface thoughts of interruption and annoyance as you see Abrunga all appear before you. Gray mottled skin, sunken eyes, cloudy white pupils, with its tentacles kind of moving quite actively towards you. And as he appears in front of you, although he's not displaying it in any sort of body language of this creature type that you're aware of, he seems to be holding his head upright and shoulders back in a pleasant greeting. But what you're detecting is something is being interrupted, and he is annoyed that he's being pulled away by a lesser being. Do you wish to delve deeper?
I guess what I'd like to do is try and ask him questions about the encounter and see if those come to the surface.
Okay, but does that require your action there to gain more insight?
I think that's up to you.
Okay, let me just make a wisdom save for him, just for simplicity's sake. So, just verifying the roller is up. Yeah, okay, so I'm just gonna roll a D20. It does have a +7 to this.
Yeah, it'll probably make it save then.
Maybe not, though. So 17, does that beat your DC?
Okay. Yeah, I know that does beat my DC, yeah.
So you see his tentacles begin to flare. Sevius, you surprise me. I must apologize for my rudeness. I am not used to my thoughts being read. A tricky one you are indeed. I shall be on guard.
The stakes of this game that Thermgul has us playing are very high. We must seek any advantage that we can.
I agree with you, and it is advantage that I seek from Thermgul here. How can I be of service to you?
I would like information about today's events. Any information you can provide about the room or the monster that we're about to face?
Okay, now I would need a persuasion or investigation check. Yeah. Are you sticking with that roll?
Okay, what are the tiers again?
15, 20, and 25.
I'll use one fate sphere, I guess.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll stick with that.
Sticking with that, okay. I have to admit you have caught my attention, but I can feel that we are not at the same level of telepathic power. I am afraid interacting further with you is a waste of my time.
Well, I appreciate you entertaining me with as much of your attention as you have provided already.
Perhaps we can visit once again, you and I.
Fingers crossed. Let's hope so.
And just for clarity, you're not the first to visit the Archivist, so you don't get the bonus.
I assumed, yeah.
And unfortunately, without reaching the minimum threshold of 15, that does end the first intermission action.
Bust. That's okay. Live and learn.
Okay, we'll see you soon. Greetings, Galeo. It is time for your first intermission action. Before we get to business, I just want to say I hope there's no hard feelings in any minor inconvenience you had during your previous fatality. Upon further reflection, we felt things were unfair and brought you back.
Thermgul, always the gracious host. No hard feelings. I just hope that was a demonstration of my capabilities. I'll just leave it at we don't have to be enemies.
Of course not, Galeo. I have tremendous respect for you and your capabilities. I've never been a fan of laws between you and me. Rules, they just get in the way. I always feel like we should be able to do whatever the hell we want. Huh?
I would say I would drink to that, but you still don't have any alcohol in this tavern.
Well, perhaps if you emerge victorious from this episode, we can share some libations. Huh? Shall we get to the business at hand? what would you like to do for your first intermission action?
I would like to visit the archivist.
Very well. One moment, please. And as Tharamgul and the Fate's Hand Tavern fade away, the piles of bones and tomes of the archivist appear before you. As soon as you cross the threshold of the entrance, or it passes you by, you feel a presence of the archivist enter into your consciousness. And at this time, I would ask you to roll a persuasion or investigation. 16. Okay. You feel Abrunga Al make himself known both telepathically and physically as he now appears before you out of the shadows. You see his gray skin and sunken eyes, milky white pupils, and tentacles moving seemingly of their own accord. Kaleo, welcome back to the land of the living. Perhaps that is not appropriate, but an accurate representation of my sentiment at any rate. How can I be of service to you?
Living, dead, I'm here.
Aren't we all?
I need information on the room.
Very well, let me see what I can find for you. So as he moves throughout the room, you're kind of brought with him as these tomes and bookcases shift around you. It stops as he grabs one and opens a page telepathically, and as he begins to scan it, you get information into your mind. You see a square room, a aquarium-like room filled with water. You can see manacles against the wall in various places. You also see 2 doorways that seem to lead in and out, as well as 2 treasure chests and 2 keys within the room.
Fun. I guess I'm going swimming.
Yes, it does appear so. I am afraid this is all the information I can pass to you. And you are not the first to visit the archivist, so you don't get that.
I assume so. I was like, my initiative was terrible.
Any last question before we end the intermission action?
No.
Then good luck to you, Galeo. Greetings, Water Talking. May I call you Water, or would that be inappropriate?
No, Water's fine. Technically, Water Talking's a nickname. I'm not allowed to have a true name until I achieve my calling.
Interesting. Any thoughts as to what your name would be?
I don't know. I've spent...
Apologize if I'm overstepping. This must be a very personal thing for you.
You know, I haven't had a lot of time to really think about it. There's a lot of voices with a lot of ideas about what I should be called, and they're going constantly. But no, I haven't settled on one. I imagine what happens to me will greatly influence who I am.
I can sympathize. It's endless. Just the voices all the time. Just, I want this, I want that. It gets a bit
Yes!
I'm sure we could talk for eternity. Water, what would you like to do for your first intermission action?
I think I'd like to visit the archivist.
Very well. One moment, please. You see Tharamgul fade away as the archway of the archives appears before you, and immediately you seem to be traversing through that threshold into the massive piles of bones and endless stacks of books. You feel a presence enter into your mind, and at this point I would ask you to roll either a persuasion or an investigation.
I'd like to use Tides of Chaos to give me advantage on the roll.
No problem at all.
Can I trigger a wild magic surge in the Fate's End Tavern?
Don't think anyone has tried.
Well, I guess we might find out later.
Okay, so you activate Tides of Chaos, and just for clarity for everyone at home,
Sure.
if you could read that out.
Yeah. Once per long rest, you can gain advantage on one attack roll, ability check, or saving throw. Before I regain the use of this feature, the DM can have me have a wild magic surge after I cast a first level spell or higher. Then I regain the use of the feature without a long rest.
Okay.
Ugh!
16 currently, unless you wish to influence that roll.
Yeah, I'd like to use this Fate Sphere. I reroll with advantage, or I just reroll one of them?
You reroll with advantage.
That's better.
22, so that does unlock 2 tiers of information. So at this point, you see the form of Abrunga all appear before you as his consciousness starts to intertwine with your own. Water talking. I am pleased to host you here at the archives. How can I be of service to you?
Oh, I was very curious about this escape room that we're going to be trapped in. I have many questions for you, but time is limited, so...
Okay, so with your tier 1, do you want that to be with the room as well? Or
so I could split them up?
You can split them up, yeah. So you get you get a set of knowledge at 15 and a set of knowledge at 20.
And is one better than the other?
Yeah, tier 2 is better, yeah. So you can choose a monster or a room for each of them.
Okay, so let's go the lower tier for the monster and the higher tier for the escape room.
Okay. He immediately closes his eyes, and you see the stacks of books begin to fly by, and he kind of turns around at one point and extends his hand just as the books stop moving. He grabs onto this tome and opens it, and as he begins to scan, you start getting information in your mind. And just to verify, you said for tier 1 you wanted information about the monster?
Yeah, and tier 2 the room.
Okay. So you'll be facing the Night Walker.
Mm-hmm.
And what you learn about the Night Walker is that it has an armor class of 14. It is immune to the following conditions: exhaustion, frightened, grappled, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, prone, and restrained. It also has 475 hit points.
Woo! Meaty.
A meaty Nightwalker indeed. I hope that has been beneficial to you. Is there anything else I can help with? And so for your tier 2, would you also like...
Just before we pass on from that, I don't recall, I feel like from looking at others, there was... I don't know which level had movement speed in it, but if movement speed is something that you could learn about a monster, if it's already supposed to be tier 2 or whatever, then never mind. But
it's beyond tier 1, yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah, the room that we're going to... the underwater room, I imagine, that we're going to be in. I have a lot of interest in how to get out of that.
So with tier 2 of 20, you learn the following about the room. It is a 65-foot square, 20 feet high. It is the fish tank, so it is filled with water. Mm-hmm. There are also 6 sets of manacles distributed around the room where the contestants will be shackled at the beginning. There are 2 doors at opposing corners within the square layout of the room. And there are also there's one chest beside each of these doors, and there are 2 keys more centrally located in the room. Not quite dead center, but equidistant within the center of the room.
What's the key to opening the doors?
I am afraid that information requires much more influence down here.
If I recall correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I hear a lot of things and I see a lot of things that aren't there. Didn't you have a particular penchant for skulls? If I brought you back some skulls, would that help increase our rapport?
I suppose it depends on whose skull. I am supplied with at least 1 bone of each that falls within the games automatically.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Do you know what's going on with the stars in all of this? Do you know who I am, what I am, what's going on? That's probably beyond the level of rapport we have now. Sorry, I'm just very curious.
I am aware that the outcome of tonight will be impactful, not only on this plane, but the material one as well. And certainly you are central to this.
Oh, that's... Yeah. Well, that's what the wolf said, so that makes sense. The Nightwalker, that's an undead, right? So perhaps once it was living, the name of what it once was, or who it once was, don't imagine it'll be of much tactical interest given the level of corruption and transformation it's gone under, but if you happen to have it, I'd be curious.
This would require extensive research, and I am afraid my time has expired here with you.
Well, thank you so much for your help.
You are most welcome. I hope to see you again, water talking.
I hope to see you too.
Greetings, Huron. It is your turn for your first intermission action. What would you like to do?
Greetings, Theramgul. I hope I do not appear rude with my re-entry to the Crucible and the Fate's Hand Tavern. Lots of emotions almost perishing.
I will give it to you. It was very dramatic.
Yes.
I can appreciate an entrance, for sure.
I have nothing but respect for you.
But, of course.
I can still respect someone and wish to kill them.
I respect you as well.
After saying this, Huron would like to attempt to take himself to the gift shop.
Okay. In that case, I need an intelligence ability check, please. Or investigation. 12. Everything goes dark as the Fate's Hand Tavern disappears, and suddenly you find yourself standing in a room. Trigger warning for gore. You see a creature, a humanoid creature, face down on some sort of table, and you see another humanoid standing with its back to you, and you just hear cutting and drops of blood hitting the ground. And as you look around for a moment, you see that several creatures, not easily identified, it seems as that their skin has been completely removed in one piece and is hanging to dry. And then everything goes black again, and Theramgul says, "Oh, easy there, Huron. You can't go wandering here all willy-nilly. Perhaps you should let me direct the caravan, huh? You are not aware of the protection that I am affording you down here. These boundaries are loose.
Well, damn cool. Boundaries are meant to be tested, challenged, experienced in all of their many forms. And learning can be had. I feel I have learned something.
This is a verity indeed. Are you saying that the next time you stray, you want me to leave you there?
I appreciate the help, Tharamgul. I do not want to be left where I found myself.
Of course. I didn't want to imply otherwise. To the gift shop, shall we?
Yes, please.
And with that, Tharamgul does a bit of a turn as out of the shadows, the shelves of the gift shop and display cases appear before you. Can I interest you in some of our tiered items here today, Huron?
Well, what is left, Tharamgul? And I look.
You are the first to visit the gift shop, Huron. Currently, all of the items are still there, and you would receive the bonus of a free reroll.
Then, first of all, I'd like to go ahead and take care of my mundane shopping, please.
Okay, if you just want to go ahead and list off everything that you bought and sold.
Of course, I'm starting off with 377 gold. I would like to purchase a second level spell scroll for 240 gold of mirror image, and a first level spell scroll of protection from evil and good.
Okay.
And that will leave me once again with 17 gold pieces.
Excellent. I hope these work out for you and are wise investments. Anything from our tiered items?
Well, yes, Tharamgul. I would like the Ring of Swimming in Tier 3, please.
And would you like this permanently or temporarily?
Permanently, of course.
9. -2 strength.
I'll go ahead and use my free reroll for that. Oh, I know this one.
Charisma and con saves at disadvantage.
Yeah.
Keeping
I will
it?
take it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Second consequence. 19. -4 to initiative.
Okay.
Okay, and your final roll. 7. Strength and dex saves at disadvantage.
Good. Great, Googly Moogly. You said strength and what?
Dex.
Okay. Keep it.
Very well. With all that nasty business out of the way, you are now the proud owner of a ring of swimming. So while wearing it, you have a swim speed of 40 feet. I don't think it's a... Actually, I have no idea if it's attunement or not. You'll have to check that and see. Make sure you only have the right number of items. Anything else I can interest you in, Huron?
I would like the agate of defense.
Permanently or temporarily?
Permanently, please, Tharamgul.
Go ahead and make another roll. 11. -2 wisdom.
I'll keep it.
Very well. You now have an agate of defense that you can attach to any mundane item, armor, or article of clothing, and it will give you a +1 to AC so long as you are wearing or carrying said item. Anything else, my adventurous friend.
I think that's plenty.
Very well, then this ends your first intermission action and our shopping trip. Greetings, Coho. It is time for your second and then your final intermission actions. What would you like to do for your second one?
For my second one, I would like to go to the shop.
Gift shop, no problem. At the word gift shop, you see the shelves and display cases appear before you. Right away, you notice in Tier 1, the agate of defense is gone, and in Tier 3, the ring of swimming is gone. However, the other items remain. What are you interested in purchasing today, Coho?
Last time I was here, I think I received this potion of resistance. Would you be able to tell me what resistance it grants?
Oh man, you bought it or it was your welcoming gift?
I think it was my welcoming gift, actually.
Okay, just let me check my spreadsheet. I can tell you right away. We didn't roll. It just says potion of resistance. So we will do that right now.
Okay.
I apologize for not informing you of the quality of your item at time of purchase. Lightning. Would you like to keep this or fate sphere the result of this roll?
I think I'll sell it.
Very well.
Yep.
Sell it for half value. Anything else you would like to purchase?
I'll go for the ring of resistance.
Permanently or temporarily?
I'll go for temporary.
Slowed. Do you wish to keep slowed or use a fate sphere to re-roll? Because you are not the first to visit the gift shop, clearly.
I will use a fate sphere.
Five. Deafened, as you immediately lose all ability to hear.
Okay, yeah, I'll take it.
Okay, your second roll, please. 3. Blinded. As everything goes dark, do you wish to fate sphere that one, or are you accepting the blinded condition?
Yeah, I'll fate sphere that one.
Okay, fate sphere used by Coho. Your vision returns to you, although you feel a bit weaker. -2 strength.
Okay, yeah.
You're good with that?
Yeah.
In that case, you now have a ring of necrotic resistance.
Okay.
Any other shopping you would like to do, Coho?
What?
Telepathically, of course. Come on, I am here to serve you.
That'll be me, thank you. So just play the game with my mute on.
That would make things difficult.
Okay.
Anything else you would like to purchase?
I think that's me done for now.
Very well, and you're finished with your mundane items as well. I believe this finishes your second intermission action. What would you like to do for your third and final?
I'll do the ritual casting of water breathing on myself, Angor, and Hurin, if that's possible.
Okay, so you're taking the prepare action. Yeah. Does the ritual allow you to do it to multiple at the same time, or are you doing 3
multiple
ritual
at the same, up to 10 willing participants.
Up to 10. Okay. So you're giving water breathing to yourself, Hurin, and Angor?
Yeah, that was who I was in parlay with, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Very well, then that concludes your intermission action. I will see you shortly, and I wish you the best of luck, Coho.
Thank you so much.
Greetings, Angor. It is time for your second and your third intermission action. What would you like to do for your second one?
For my second intermission action, I will be going to the gift shop.
Very well, one moment. And with this, the gift shop appears up out of the shadow, and You see the display cases in front of you. In Tier 1, the Amethyst of Enchantment is still there. However, the Agate of Defense is gone. In Tier 2, the Cap of Water Breathing is still there. However, the Ring of Resistance is gone. And then in Tier 3, the Ring of Swimming is gone, but the Weapon of Uncanny Effectiveness is still there.
There, so here's my situation. Might have been a little hasty. Round 1, getting my hands on everything I could get my hands on, except for that, dumb robe. But I don't use a shield. Shields are for defense, and I'm all fucking offense. So
I like it.
I wonder if I might be able to convince you in some sort of trade back for this shield. I understand that with the shield came some consequences, and I'm stuck with those. I was wondering if perhaps I return this shield to the gift shop, if I could randomly have one of those consequences disappear. Or perhaps I could sell it back to you, keeping the consequences at half price. I'm open for any ideas that you might have as to how I can, because it's a fucking shield, and it's hard to swing a sword with two hands when one's holding a shield.
I'm afraid if those were permanent, it is out of my hands, Angor, for there are a lot more parties involved than just me with these transactions.
All right, so moving on to more mundane things, what can I get for 3 silver and 3 copper? Oh, wait. You gifted us all 300 gold pieces for making it to round 2.
I did, yes.
So, I'm not buying a ladder this time, but I am gonna buy... I need a potion of greater healing. Okay, I need that probably, more than likely. I'm gonna want a scroll of protection from evil and good. Okay, then I'm gonna need, we're fighting underwater, so I'm gonna need something that I can use underwater, something that I can stab with. So I'm thinking a pike. I think a pike.
Sure.
And I think, because it would be a mundane pike, I go against my better judgment, and I'm going to take a spin on your Wheel of Consequences for that amethyst.
Permanently or temporarily?
I'm going to do permanent.
Permanently. Very well. In that case, go ahead and roll your d20, please. A 5. All of a sudden, you stop hearing everything as you are now deafened. Telepathically, do you want to keep deafened or Fate Sphere?
No, that's, there are so many worse options. What? No, this is great.
So telepathically you hear Tharamgul say to you, "This can be a blessing, believe me. Not hearing other people talk can be heavenly." Any other shopping for you, Angor?
No, that'll do.
Your final intermission action.
Need to prepare.
Okay, and what would you like to do during your prepare?
At the same time, I'm gonna cast Sanctuary and the scroll from, well, it's not at the same time, but the scroll of protection from evil and good.
Okay, Sanctuary is not concentration?
Correct. But protection from evil and good is.
Okay.
That's it. Here we go.
Very well. Good luck to Angor, and perhaps by the end of this episode we'll have a new title for you. Huh?
Hopefully.
Let's hope it's not Angor the Slain, huh?
Yeah, that would suck.
It would. Greetings, Sivius. We are now live to millions here, Eyes of Truth. It is time for your second intermission action. What would you like to do?
I would like to visit the gift shop.
Very well. At the mention of the word gift shop, you see the display cases and shelves apparate in front of you. You can see that the tiered items have been pilfered quite a lot, with only 2 items remaining. One in tier 2, and that is a cap of water breathing, and one in tier 3, which is a weapon of uncanny effectiveness.
Yeah, I'm not interested in either of those. So I'll just do some, I guess, normal transactions, just like the ones that I specified in the sheet that I sent in.
Okay, and just for the folks at home, do you mind, you don't have to say how much gold you had at the beginning or end, but if you can just list off what you bought and or sold.
Okay, and I'm buying a potion of heroism and some iron spikes.
Okay, sounds good. And that is it for your shopping?
Yep.
Oh yeah, man of simple needs and tastes. I can appreciate that. For your third and final intermission action.
Yeah, I'll prepare. I'd like to... So this is, what, an hour's worth of stuff? Have I got this right?
Hours worth of cumulative casting time. You're
okay.
Right.
So I'll drink the potion of heroism.
Okay.
Which gives me 10 bonus hit points and the bless effect.
Yep.
I'll cast dark vision on myself, and I will also light a torch up and be holding it when I go through the portal.
Okay. Sounds good.
And that's it for me.
Very well. I will see you shortly back in the Fate's Hand Tavern.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Just one other thing. I'll also get rid of some of the extra gear that I had from round 1, now realizing how encumbered that was making me.
No problem at all. If you simply deposit the items in the gift shop repository, you will get half value for them.
Okay.
Greetings, Galeo. It is time for your second intermission action, and of course your final one after that. I would like to let you know we are broadcasting now to the billions and billions of Eyes of Truth out there that are tuning in for the excitement of tonight's episode. What would you like to do for your second intermission action?
First, I turn around and take a theatrical bow to the millions of viewers. And then I'm going to go to the gift shop.
No problem. As the shelves and display cases appear before you, you can see that there's not much left in the gift shop. Currently, only the cap of water breathing in Tier 2 and the weapon of uncanny effectiveness in Tier 3 remain for the tiered items.
Okay.
Anything capturing your attention here, Galeo?
The cap is tempting, but I think I'm going to pass on it. But I did have a question about the information I received in the archivist. I don't need specifics, but about how big was that room?
About 65 foot square at its bottom, and then about 20 feet tall.
Okay, then my idea would not work. I was going to see it by dust of dryness and get rid of the water that way, but that's not going to work. Okay.
Very tricksy.
In that case, I'm going to buy a level 3 spell rot tattoo for 800, and I'm going to have the spell associated with it be water breathing.
I see it.
And then, do I still have my potion of growth from the, because it reset my inventory?
If it was purchased in your last round 2 appearance, you would not have it.
But so I didn't know what I had in my inventory
then,
at the beginning.
Okay, so in this gift shop, IA will say that anything you bought in your last appearance and the money you spent, it just all repeats again.
Perfect.
Keep
Okay,
it
so I'll
simple.
have the potion of growth too. And for those that didn't see the last episode I was in, I also bought a vicious whip on that episode. Aside from that, I think I'm good in the gift shop.
Very well. For your final intermission action.
Prepare, please.
And how would you like to prepare?
Okay, so first things first, I want to use that spell rot tattoo to cast water breathing on the entire party.
On everyone? Well, I'm afraid you can only cast something like that on allies, and those have to be established beforehand. You could do it
I thought
once it starts. That would be a sign of good faith.
I thought I read it like in the rule document somewhere that everyone is assumed to be allies until we said otherwise.
For spells and magical effects, though, you have to have consent.
Okay. So it says, and still stated otherwise, all players are considered allies for the sake of flanking artifacts in any other situation where that needs to be specified.
Yeah, so those were more meant to be like combat and like auras and stuff. But for spells going in, it's meant to be, you need consent.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes things a lot more difficult because I wanted to cast a bunch of spells that affected everyone.
It's under the prep IA about casting spells on other people. It says that you have to establish through a parlay or something like that. If you want to cast it before you go in, after you go in,
You can do it.
you
on
can.
anyone.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have the action economy in the game to do this, so I guess I will not be helping everyone. I will be selfish. All right, then I'm going to cast Aid on myself, even though I could target 3 people. And I will cast Bless on myself as well.
Okay. Aid is not concentration, correct?
It is not. And then this feels so bad because it could affect 10 people, but I'll cast the water breathing on myself.
Okay.
And then I'll cast growth, or I'll drink my potion of growth for the enlarge effect.
Okay.
So that's my second level spell slot, a first level spell slot.
So you are
And
now
then-
large, correct?
Yes. I will cast spiritual weapon. And I was wondering if there's a particular holy symbol for iodine.
For iodine, it could be anything that you wish that would represent freedom, the power of nature, anything like that.
A literal gigantic tree.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that's everything I could do. Yep, that is my intermission.
Very well. We'll see you shortly, Galeo. Greetings to you, Water Talking. It is time for your second intermission action, and I must let you know that we are now broadcasting live to millions of people. They get to see the wonders that are your intermission actions. What would you like to do for your first one?
I'd like to visit the gift shop.
Very well. One moment, please. At the mention of the gift shop, you see the display cases and shelves appear before you. Right away, you notice that on the shelves, 4 of the 6 items have already been purchased. Only the cap of water breathing remains in Tier 2, and a weapon of uncanny effectiveness in Tier 3. Anything here of interest to you, Water?
You need to have more fashions here, Therum Ghoul. I mean, the gift shop items are wonderful, but something with a bit more flair, I think, maybe for round 3, if you could.
Wait, sure. Me? I mean, there's much clothing back here if you have the gold for it.
Oh, that's fair. But right now, I think what I'd like is a potion of water breathing and a scroll of long strider.
Very well. As long as you deposit the gold here in this repository, you are good to go. Okay, so that was potion of water breathing?
Yep.
And scroll of...
Long strider, first level spell.
Got it. Anything else for you?
I think that's good.
Okay, very well. And for your third intermission action?
I'd like to prepare.
And how would you like to prepare?
So I'm going to do a bunch of stuff with the understanding that the effects to start within the game once we're...
Yep, so as needed, they take effect either right away or right before you go through the portal, but if it's something you want to be active until your turn, it costs you 1 round of the duration to have it active first.
Okay. So let's drink that potion of water breathing.
Okay.
So that we'll be breathing. Very helpful.
It is. Always.
And let's cast Long Strider on ourselves. Long Strider, for those who don't recall, increases the target's speed by 10 feet until the spell ends. The duration is 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
Not much help for... it helps with swimming. The legs kick faster, you know?
Yes. More efficient strokes.
Now for something a little more interesting. I'd like to cast Armor of Agathis on myself.
Mm-hmm.
And in so doing, try and regain my Tides of Chaos, which would trigger a Wild Magic Surge.
Very well. And this is a D100 roll?
Yeah.
Okay. I am going to bring up the Wild Magic table. If you have it in front of you, great. If you want to go ahead and roll that D100.
Sure.
Okay, so
30.
30. Looking at the table I have, we'll see if that's the same. You teleport up to 60 feet to an unoccupied space of your choice that you can see.
All right. I mean, is there any direction I could go to within the space that I'm in that might reveal something? If there is, then I would try and teleport someplace new just to try and get some insight.
What are you picturing in your head as you begin to teleport?
I would say that I'm picturing the stars. The stars have always been guiding my fate. They've been marked me from birth, and I've been thinking about like the observatory from one of the earlier episodes and how they tie in the comet, all that sort of thing. Just space.
Give me an intelligence ability check or investigation, please.
Okay. Ooh, spicy.
For a moment, you feel a rush of freezing cold as you find yourself under the stars, looking up from the material plane. It is incredibly cold here. A strong wind rushes against you, and you are no longer in the abyss. And then everything goes dark, and you reappear in front of Tharamgul, and he turns towards you in your new location. Now, come on now, Water. You have to behave down here. You don't know how lucky you just were. After this episode, should you survive, you will see what happened to poor Huron when he tried to go somewhere else without my protection. You have to control this down here.
I mean, respect there, Ghoul. Of course, I will keep that in mind. But at the same time, I think whoever you want to win this is somebody who's going to push boundaries and take bold risks.
That is true. You have a very good point there.
But don't push my boundaries, Water.
Do you understand?
I understand. The wolf doesn't understand, and this octopus thing doesn't understand, but I'll try and get them under control for you, because order must be maintained.
Excellent. Good to hear. We're on the same page. Any other preparations you would like to do?
I think that's everything.
Excellent. Then best of luck to you. I can't wait to see the chaos that you bring to this evening's events. Greetings, Huron. It feels like it's been a long time. I must warn you that we are now broadcasting live to the billions of people that are watching Crucible of Fate. It is time for your second intermission action. What would you like to do?
Huron will turn, cross his wrists, bow to the masses, look back at Therangul and say, I trust I still have your protection, Therangul.
As long as you do what you're told, I will watch over you. But I warned you about wandering.
Well, unfortunately, I'm a very curious creature, and I would like to will myself to the archives.
Okay, give me...
I gotta do it.
Give me an intelligence ability check or investigation. Do you wish to make any alterations to your roll of a 3?
I will re-roll the 3.
Okay, Fate Sphere used by Huron.
Not better. Not much better.
What is your bonus to investigation?
It's a 0.
Okay.
It's a straight.
So 15.
Yeah.
Everything goes dark. And when you get your vision back, you find yourself standing on the precipice of a massive void, seemingly endless in dimensions. You can't see to the opposite side. Looking down, there is nothing but shadow and void. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Oh, goody. Is this how I die?
A 7. You become disoriented at the lack of ability to position yourself of where you are, and this void is overwhelming in scope, not only physically but mentally as well. And you begin to fall and fall and fall, and you just hear cackling behind you as you begin to descend at a very rapid pace.
I warned you, Huron. This endless pushing against my boundaries. You will see now the cost.
And you find yourself ripped away from this falling motion as you slam into the floor of the Fate's Hand Tavern, with Therangul standing over you as you lay prone. You can't say that I didn't warn you, Huron. I am afraid that this has cost you your intermission action. You now have your final one to do.
I will look at Tharamgul and say, you did warn me, Tharamgul. However, one cannot know their limits unless they test and try. However, I would like to use my prepare action, please.
Very well. How would you like to prepare?
I would like to use the second level spell scroll of Mirror Image.
Okay.
First level spell scroll of Protection from Evil and Good.
That one is concentration?
Correct.
Okay.
I would like to cast Arbor of Agathis at second level.
Okay.
That will be my preparations.
Very well. Then this concludes your intermission actions, and I hope you can appreciate the generosity I've once again extended to you. If I had let you fall, Huron, you would have increased in speed and fallen for a number of hours, I believe, until you finally found out what is at the bottom of this pit. You are lucky that I saved you. Do not be so reckless in future, perhaps.
Your generosity is appreciated, Tharamgul.
Good.